Hi guys. So 2 weeks ago, I made a video called Custom Code Push Integration in React Native with the help of open source library called Hot Updater, where I discuss how you can use this particular library to migrate away from Microsoft's App Center, which is going to shut down on March 31st, which is about 45 days from today. Right. So in that video, I used Supabase to manage the JS bundles in the cloud, as well as use that in our React Native application. So this video is a part two of that one, where in this video I will discuss how you can do the same thing in Cloudflare with help of Cloudflare R1 a database, as well as R2 database, and then D1 SQL to manage the JS bundles in the cloud. Right. I'll also discuss various security concepts which we need to know before doing this, and other code concepts as well. So now let's dive right into the video. So this is the notes that I have prepared for this one. So this was for the previous video. This one is for this, right? Now I will also be making a part 3 of this particular video, where I'll be using AWS S3 and then Lambda Edge functions to manage the JS bundles. So I got a query where they used AWS for the entire backend stack, and using Cloudflare or Supabase for this particular application or this particular feature of an app is not possible because they're enterprise. They need to have tight budgets, etc. Now, so for that, I have requested the maintainer to make one. He's going to do it, and then once he has done it, I will make an in-depth guide on that as well, which will be very useful for big applications which are tied to a single cloud platform. Now let's start. Okay, so this is the I'm going to go here. So this is the website, right? So what you do is you have to go to Cloudflare provider here, and then first install the library. So in order to install the library, what you have to do, you have to create a new window, like new tab, and then go to your project's root folder and then install it. Once you install it, the next step is to initialize Cloudflare in your project. So before going right into this, I will always explain the system design behind each and every concept that are required for this to happen, right? In the previous one, I think I didn't do the Supabase, but for this Cloudflare and the AWS, I'm going to discuss each and every detail for required for you to do. Okay, so this is Excalibur. So I'm going to write on this for you to understand more, right? So this is our React Native application, and then when an error, or so why we need to do all this, right? So for a small recap, if you are going to go with the the App Store's review system, it is going to take almost 12 hours, right? 12 hours to go through their reviews, almost from 1 hour to 12 hours or even 24 hours. So if you use this custom code push solutions, where if you have encountered a severe bug which is literally crashing your app in the JS side of things, not the native side, you can use this concepts called libraries called Hot Updater to update the JS bundle over the air, where they would fix the JS bundle, so the JS bundle which is installed in the user's device, and then once that is done, now the blocker, like the bug has been fixed, and then the users can use the app as usual. Okay, this is a mission critical feature which is often overlooked, which has saved ourselves a lot in production. If mistakes happen, and then as humans we have to fix that particular mistakes and move forward. That's how we grow, right? Like not everyone is correct all the time. Okay, so now let's get into the system design, right? So system design. So I'm using Wacom device to write. So if you don't understand, please let me know in the comments, right? I'm trying my best to improve the presentation styles. So here, this is our app, and then as an issue has happened, what we do is, with the help of the Hot Updater library, Hot Updater. So with the help of the Hot Updater library, what we are going to do is, we are going to generate a JS bundle. So JS bundle, and then in Supabase, what we did was we uploaded the JS bundle to the storage, and then whatever the metadata is there was stored in the Supabase table. Okay, so we stored it in Supabase's table, a Postgres table, SQL table, and then what happened was, when the user opens the app for one more time, we the particular Supabase edge functions So H functions would be called, which will query the Supabase SQL table. And if the latest, the version that is installed in the app is lesser than the version that we have uploaded to the storage and the metadata which is available in the SQL, what we do is we get the JS bundle. So I'm going to move here. We get the JS bundle and then we update it in the app. So this is the flow of Supabase, which I forgot to mention in the previous video. Now, what is going to happen this time? Okay, so this is actually not a React Native relevant one, but whatever we have to do, right? We have to know what is happening in the background. We shouldn't abstract more and more. Okay, like the library works, so no problem. No, that's not how it works. What happens is if you know how the each and every step works, you can customize the library to your own needs. If you just do it blindly with the help of AI, etc., or without any other external consultations, you can't improve your app or improve your skill sets. Right? So that's what I'm making this stuff by taking some time, right? Or else I would have just jumped into the integration. Now for the Cloudflare, so for Cloudflare, what we are going to do? So the same way, with the help of a command, we are going to generate the JS bundle and then we are going to upload it to R2 storage. Okay, R2 storage is a superb solution in in Cloudflare where we can upload binary files like images, JS bundles, zips, whatever we want there, right? The binary files there, and then when a JS bundle is uploaded, we also update the like D1 SQL database. So this is a this is a serverless SQL database which will have the metadata of whatever the bundle that we have in there, right? So whatever bundle information that is here will be present in the D1 SQL. Okay, now the D1 SQL table as a row. Okay, once that is done, like once that is present, the user again opens the app. Okay, he again opens the app. What we do is here, so this is the data layer, right? So this is the storage layer. What I would call is this is the storage layer. This is the data layer. Now, how would the user, like how as a developer, we can query these things, right? This SQL and the storage. So we can do that with the help of a concept called Cloudflare Workers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it here, and then we can we can query the D1 SQL and the R2 storage with the help of concept called Cloudflare Workers, which is an API route or API server, which we will be deploying along with the hot updater library. Where when the user opens the app again, like let's take after the crash has happened, and then he opens the app. What we have the current version in the app is 1, and then the bundle version that we have uploaded is 2. Okay, so what happens is when the user opens the app, we immediately call the workers API to check what is the latest version there. So if it is 2, right, what happens is okay, so the version here is 1 and then the latest version is 2. So the check is like, okay, so latest version has been uploaded. So what happens is the workers will check this and then it will query the D1 SQL. So how can we get the latest version is once the user opens the app, we call the workers API. It will go to D1 SQL, right? And then it will get the latest row added into that SQL. And then in that row, we will have multiple informations like the latest version, the metadata, and then the R2 storage URL. Okay, the bundle URL so the bundle that we uploaded to R2 storage, we'll get back that URL and then that will be present in the row. Okay, so that will be in this particular row, right? So and then once that happens, this particular URL will be sent back to the end user. Okay, and then with a hot updater one, the library automatically gets this bundle URL, downloads it, and applies it to your application. And then immediately the update will be applied to your app, and the bug will be fixed. Like if you fix the bug, whatever the changes that you have added in the bundle will be fixed there. Okay, so that's how the whole integration works. So it is what we use 3 services called workers, which will call the D1 SQL, and then this D1 SQL contains the URL of the bundle stored in R2 storage. So this is the whole flow. Okay, and then from the front end we call this worker, right? That's how it happens. So we send a request and we get a response back, right? So this is the complete system design or the flow of how everything works, right? Now let's get into the integration, right? So uh, what I'm going to do, sorry, I'm going to go here and then I'm going to copy this command and then go here and then paste it here. Okay, I'm going to select Metro. So please use 7.0 version, latest version, because there was a bug in the previous version, but now it works fine. I'm going to tap on enter and then I'm going to use what, Cloudflare D1, R2, and Worker. Okay, the whole integration I said. For Superbase, it is Superbase storage, PostgreSQL, and then Superbase edge functions. So I'm going to tap on this. So that will install the required libraries here. Then once that is done, I'm going to show each and every step from here. Okay. So let it install. Here he would have provided the guides, right? So I'm going to explain it from there. Can see we have to create account API tokens as well for D1 and R2. So I will create that one and then I will use that API token here. So let's wait. Okay. So he has installed those things. Okay, now it has gone here. Let's wait. Okay, so this will be there, right? So tap on allow. So this is done. Now what happens? You can see. Okay, so that is done. And then granted, checking account list. So this is the account that I use. So API token. So how to create the API token? In here itself, he has given that. I'm going to copy it and paste it there. So I'm going to go to this API tokens and then create API word. Okay. So next one is create custom token. Go here. So this is what for YT, right? Just YT. I'm going to delete this token after this video. So I'm going to go here account. So let use account. So I'm going to go here account and then D1. Search D1. Okay, D and then edit account and R2. So just scroll down. Okay, workers R2. Okay, workers R2 storage edit. Once that is done, tap on continue to summary and then create this account, create token, sorry. And tap on this copy, okay, and then paste it here. So command V. Okay, so what I'm going to do is either I can create a new bucket or use an existing method, but I'm going to use an existing one. You can also do the same for D1. I'm going to use an existing one. Whatever it is, just tap enter and it will just work. Okay. So enter the worker. So the same what I said was we are going to create workers D1 R2. So the last step is to create a worker. So I'm just going to use hot updater only and then press on enter. Okay. So all these things will be done and then I can see worker startup time, D1 database is there and all these things. That's it. That is the first integration that to do. And then here itself, he has given add this to your app.tsx. Actually, this is more than enough. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to go to the app and then so to the like the project itself. So in the app.js, you can use it literally here, but no, you can use it anywhere. You can use mainly what I suggest is to root it. To use it at the root of the application. But for this tutorial purpose, I'm going to go here. This I already did. This was for the Superbase functions. Now I'm going to paste it here and then what is this? So I'm going to remove this. Okay. And then you have to import it from hot updater. So that is already imported actually. And then I have to use the proper thing here. So it's already there. Okay. That's it. Right. The next step is to implement the native code. So if I scroll down, okay, you can see the hot updater. For example, if I search this, right? So if I search this, here you can see I have the bucket name, account ID, Cloudflare token, all these things will be here. So you can use it however you like, use it properly, right? Next one. Generate configurations. I did it, everything is there, and then I added it. You can go through these docs to enhance how you want the update to be applied to your app. Next one is the plugin side. So if I search plugins, what happens here? You have to add hot updater Babel plugin there, and then in the native code, same way I'm going to copy this and then search. Like in the previous video, I did the same. So I'm going to. Okay, here I am just going to uncomment these things, right? These two, and then save it. Once that is done, same for iOS. Okay, that's it. Right now to apply this, right, there are two steps. Okay, you have to follow. What that is so in this in here. So the two steps are: first you test it locally, like you make all the configurations, and then you have to literally make a production build. Okay. So in order to create a production build, what you have to do is use this particular command. Android P, use hyphen mode of release. You can also find it in the documentation where simulate release mode. What you do is copy this command and then paste it in your root of the project. So what happens is the for iOS this, for Android this, for iOS stuff to do it in local. But if, like, for example, you have to go to Xcode and either you can run it in your real device or an emulator, but it works. It works for Android. What you do, the same way, you go here and then you paste this command here, and then you make some changes in the local, make the bundle uploaded. Okay, I will just come back to that later. Okay, so now these things are done. Like the Cloudflare integration is completely done. Now, how do you generate a bundle and how does it get updated to Cloudflare? Okay, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this command called update Android. Okay, so you can also copy, you can pause this video, just simply literally copy this one. Right now, I'm going to go to what I would say, like the command prompt, and then use npm run and then update Android. Okay, so if you press enter, what happens is actually what is saying. Okay, so sudo, like this sudo is like if you get these permissions, right? For this video I'm just simply using it, but for real world apps, never run sudo commands. Why? Because it will always trouble you later. Okay, so some files in your app would have sudo command, and some others like wouldn't have sudo, so that would be a nightmare. So what I would say is to remove everything from the sudo mode to normal mode. Okay, so I'm just going to run sudo npm run update Android, provide the. Okay, what happens here, you see the bundle will be created, and then it will be uploaded to what, here we will go, it will be uploaded to R2, sorry, the R2, and then that metadata will be stored in D1, and then we can access it via the workers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and then okay, it's still building. Just going to, okay, so in here in the R2 storage, if you tap on R2 storage, in the overview, in this one, like whatever the bucket name that you have given, you will see here, this is the this is one like what I would say is the bundle. Let's wait. Okay, you can see the build is completed. It is uploading to R2 storage. Okay, it has uploaded, and then it is updating the database, and deployment is successful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here. You can see this is the latest one. So I think this is the latest one. If I tap on that, you can see the modified date is what, 9/34 now. Yeah, it's correct. Now what I can, okay, this is the R2 bucket. Okay, the next one, we need to check the D1 SQL database. So if I go here, you can see this is the D1 SQL. So actually I forgot to say this. You should know there is no need to pay. That's the main thing. There is no need to pay for an initial amount. I will make a, no, if I go here, I will make a capacity estimation, which is nothing but the estimating the cost at which it will grow for scale, right? So I will use this one to explain more. So what happened here? A bundle got updated, and then whatever the values are, this is the database table. So two tables and then queries this one. So if I tap on this, if I go here, in the tables, bundles, okay, you can see two rows are there. As I said, platform iOS, target this, shoot force update, enable, and the file URL itself is there. Okay, right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the documentation, and there is a concept called console. That's why I like this library a lot, because they provide a console on their own. But for the another library called React Native, what is it, like OTA hot update, I made a console myself, which I'm going to provide the source code for free for you guys to use. Okay, so here at the top, sorry, Actually, that's console rollback configure usage. Okay, sorry, this one. So I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it here. So that is going to this will be available in this URL. So localhost URL. I'm going to paste it there. Now you can see whatever is in this particular one will be visible here. The platform, the refactor, force update enabled, and all these things. You can go. Let's say, okay, let's see. I'm going to go here and then I'm going to disable it and then tap on save. So once that is done, this is saying cross. If I go here to the storage, let's go back and come back here. You can see enable will be 0. The same way for force update, I'm going to change this force update. So this was one, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on save. And then what happens? This won't get immediately reflected. So I have to go back so that the data loads back in. You can see the force update is now 0. So everything is customizable in the library itself. Sorry, in the console itself. Okay, you can also change the versions as well. So whatever versions that you change will be visible there. Okay, now the next step is what is the security of this? Okay, the rollback. I discussed about the custom dashboard now, just this one, and how it directly reflects here. The next one is the rollback. So what is rollback? So let's take something bad app so there was a bug in the React Native apps like JS side of the code, and then you pushed the bundle, right? Then what happened was the bundle itself had some issue. So we need to do some rollback to the proper before version, which has no crashes. So for this, I would recommend to contact the maintainer himself to get more details on this. Right. But what I think, according to my own testing for the last 2 days in a production app, like in internal testing, not I didn't push it to production users. It works properly, right? The rollbacks happens automatically, but you have to, what I would say is like what I would say ask the member, like the maintainer, more, because it's a new library. But according to me, it works well. So as you can see here, right? So yeah, that is the cons for rollback. Next is the custom dashboard, which we discussed, and the security. So what is the security and what that is, etc. Now you can ask. Okay, I will also discuss how the app gets the bundle rate. So in this particular one, we use the hot updated.wrap. So what happens is when the user closes and opens the app again, so the app crashed, and then the user reloads the bundle and is there, right? This particular code will what it will do is it will immediately call this particular worker URL. Okay, so if I use command click on that, you can see this particular thing will ask for the bundle ID, app platform, and the app version, which will be injected into this particular URL by the library itself. So the bundle ID is nothing but your package name or the bundle ID in iOS. App platform is iOS or Android, the same one, and then the last one is the app version, which is what this one, right? So that will be automatically injected by the app itself. So if I use command click on this, I'll go here in the hot updater config. If I use that, you can see the update status. So not that one. Check. Okay, this one, right? So source bundle arg. The platform, the bundle ID, and the app version will be injected into the URL by the library itself. So the missing bundle ID platform, those won't be a problem. Okay. Now it will check. Okay. So there's a latest version. So if there's a latest version, what you have to do? So you have to get the R2, like get this particular zip file, and then you have to download it in the app, and then apply it to the app, right? So that the update gets what I would say is reflected immediately to the users. Okay, so that's how literally it happens. So the app calls the workers API with help of this particular code, where we wrap. This is called a higher order component. We wrap the the root file, this particular library, which will call this particular URL with the source prop, and then it will it will query the D1 SQL, get back the, if there is a latest version, it will get back the bundle URL, and then it will download it and then update the source code into the app. Okay, so what is the security behind this? Like how how you can secure it? So if you directly use this, right, without any auth URL, anyone in the, like, because this is publicly accessible code, right? So whatever here is accessible publicly by anyone. Okay. So what I suggest is, and what I have also done is, I like, either you can use this request header, okay, request header, and change the Cloudflare Workers code to your, to suit to your, what I would say, like authentication route, let's like with JWT or like session based one, whatever it is. And then only if the user is authenticated, update it, or literally make them call, because anyone from the internet can call it, right? So what you can do is, only if the user is logged in and signed up, you know what I would say, like you allow them to download the bundle and update it, so that it prevents unauthorized access by anyone in the internet. So that is number one. Right. So what I suggest is, it's up to you. Like I'm also new to this, right? New this particular one, because it was released 2 weeks ago. Here, what my plan is, so my users in my own production app, what they do is, without accessing, you can't access any parts of our API. If you access it, you will immediately get unverified request as a response back. Okay, this is backend engineering, not front end. I think I'm just saying so much things about the backend than the front end here, but that's how it works, right? Because apps being app centers, they abstracted each and every layer that is required to do this with their own infrastructure, right? But this one we have to know to implement this and to scale it up. So in my own app, without having the proper JWT tokens or any auth tokens, you can't use any API routes in our app, right? So what I have implemented is, so I'm going to proxy. So my app's URL is what? So it would be HTTPS API dot this one, and then what I'm going to do is, they call this one. So they call check update. This is completely protected with API like no authentication tokens. In this one, I'm going to call this particular URL, okay, with help of Axios or Fetch, and then I'm going to literally pass bundle ID, app platform, and app version as headers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to tap on this, and then in this side, okay, actually no need. Let's go here. I think not. Let's not go to DTS. Okay, index. Okay, yes, minified it. Okay, ex hyphen. Okay, here you can see what he is doing. Var external. Okay, this one, ensure update info. So he is adding the X hyphen app platform, app version, bundle ID, and then calling what I would say, calling the end URL, like sorry, the workers URL. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with Axios or Fetch or whatever I want. And then once I do that, so I'm going to comment this out. So I'm going to proxy this particular worker URL with my own fully authenticated protected routes, and I'm going to inject these headers. Okay, so I'm going over, right. I will explain one by one with this one. So I'm going to go here, and then what I'm going to do is, so we have the workers here, right? This is publicly accessible, so anyone from the internet can access it. Because, like, for example, if you use it in your app, right, if you simply use it in your app, and then they can get this via JS model. If someone wants to hack you or trouble you, they will do it, right? So in order to protect yourself from these bad actors, security is the number one priority, and then it should be priority from day one. So this is public. Now what you do, so you have your own API routes which are authenticated heavily, where if there is no proper tokens, you reject it. So that is not accessible to anyone except the users who are using your app in your own platform. Okay, so these are auth protected, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use Axios or any other library or Fetch, etc., to call the worker route, right, which is nothing but the API route with with the headers. Okay, with the headers which I have mentioned here. Okay, so I'm going to go here. So whatever I have mentioned here, right? X API ID and all these things, and then I'm okay, and then I will get the file URL back. So what happens here is the when we call this particular URL, we get back the current version. We actually we get back everything here. We get back the ID, platform, target app version, shoot force, and all these things, right? So what I will do is I will get back this file URL, and then so okay, I'll just do the code itself, right? So now const this is this I you have to use it in your backend, okay? So for example, if you use Express.js, this will help you. So const response equal to axios dot get, and then you can use this, and then what you do is you call it in this way. So actually this should be okay, you call it in this way, and then the platform will be rec dot headers of these values. Sorry, this one, the same for this and this, and then the response that you will get back is response dot, actually I will use await because this is a asynchronous call. So response dot data, and then what you do is you send back res dot send what's this dot res dot send, and then you send it back, whatever you have it here, you send it back, and then this particular wrapper will get all the response back, and it will apply the update. Okay, this is how you secure your bundle URL, that get whatever, like the update URL or your Cloudflare Workers route with the help of this. Because in order for this to work, right, your storage should be public. Okay, storage solution should be public. Right, then only your app can get it and download it, etc. The same way your SQL database will should be public. Unless and until you expose all these things to your end users with the help of or end users or others with the help of the API keys or etc. No, that like that they are not going. They won't even know that you are using this, right? The next one is, people asked me where, okay, will this be bundled with this particular file will be bundled with your what I would say, like with the code itself, like the JS bundles. So no, it won't be bundled, right? So no, this will always be available in the local only for you to access. So that is number two. Okay, so yeah, that's how you can proxy the cloud worker API URL with your own authenticated one, and then send the same responses that you get from the cloud worker URL back to your end users, back to your app, where the hot updated library will get it, and then will what I would say, like apply the update to the app. Okay, so this was too too long. What I would say is these are not easy, right? Like AI can do this in 5 minutes, but without knowing what happens in the backend, it's like impossible to scale it, or even for example, if you want to do knowledge transfer, KT, right? What you are going to explain? Like you have to know each and every detail, right? So details matter. So now the security part is done, where only authenticated users can access the Cloudflare route URL, and then public access is allowed, because they don't even know which URL they are getting it from, because it's proxied through you. So what is proxy, right? I will also explain the small backend concept where, so this is your Cloudflare worker. So what is this? This is your worker, right? Cloud CF worker, and then sorry, this is your your authenticated URL, and this is your app. Okay, so this is your very protected auth URL, which you could have used, like you have put it to EC2 or Cloud Run or anything, right? Like any other proper solution you want. It can be made with Express.js, Java, Python, or Django or PHP, Laravel, and anything. Now this is your app. Okay, this is your app. What happens? Before it directly queried this So that you are no the Cloudflare worker URL is exposed. But now what you do, you you call your auth URL, and only if you're authenticated, it will go to CF worker, and it will give you a response, and then that auth URL will provide you the response back. So you are proxying it through your auth URL so that your CF worker is always hidden. That's the power of this particular integration. Unless and until they know this exact URL, there is no need for you to worry anytime soon. Right? There's nothing going to happen because they don't know that you are literally using this solution. Okay. So what is the next one? Next one is, if I go back to this, the JS bundle. So that is the second part of this video. Okay. So what is this JS bundle? Now, if you go back here and then I'm going to download this. Okay. I'm going to tap on this and then I'm going to tap on download. Okay, it's downloading. It's what 9 MBs. So it's downloading, and then that is there. So I'm going to drag and drop it here. Okay, actually it's not nice. So I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to reveal in Finder. Take it out. Go here. You can see this is the file. Like let's take somebody uses network inspector and gets back the URL, or ADB logcat and gets back the URL, right? And then they they get their index with this one, right? So what I'm going to do, you see, I'm going to put this here. This is the bundle code, the exact bundle code that that your app has, right? Unless and until you literally use API keys in the front end, you got nothing to worry. Okay, so mostly any publicly accessible app in the Play Stores and App Stores, anyone can take the APK and repurpose it and dissect the APK and use it for their own purposes, right? But as this is JS bundle, this is completely obfuscated. I'm not that good in English, but the code is minified and obfuscated, so they won't understand what is happening here unless and until you literally use API keys in the front end where they can access it and use it for their own purpose. You can still, for example, if you use Google Maps API key, right, you can go to Google Cloud Console and make sure that that particular API key only works for certain package names and certain SHA-1 keys. Same for your iPhone, the iOS side, right? So that's it. That's the security aspect here. And then for a React Native app, they can still get the bundle if the app is also available in the app stores. Okay, so that is the security part for the bundle, and how it also works, how the JS bundle gets uploaded, bundled and uploaded, and how it gets gotten from the Cloudflare and then used it in the app. Okay, so that's it for the main concepts of how you can do it with Cloudflare, etc. The next part is the React Native side, which actually is this exact same of how it works with Supabase, right? So for example, in the last end of the video, whatever, okay, they are using ads in my own video, but as I don't have monetization, I can't get any money, but fine. So here you can see, I would have said this is part one, this is a production made application, and then the once I bundle, create a bundle, and then I send it to the Supabase one. I that bundle is been properly updated there. I reopen the app again, and then the bundle will be automatically applied to the iOS side of app. You can see here that is the same process. There is no code change, as you can see, right? So that is the React Native side. Okay, so if we did all these things properly, it will work fine. So do also see the previous video here, and then come back here. This video is more of a backend side of things. And then, you should understand, right? You should understand how the backend works. Same for Supabase. You can replace, if I go to the top, you can replace the D1 with their Postgres table, R2 with their Supabase storage, and Workers with Supabase edge functions. Okay, right? That's the same thing. So you need these three things for this to work seamlessly: storage solution, and then data persistent SQL server, and then an API route. Okay. Right. The same way for Supabase edge functions, it is publicly accessible. What you do, you proxy it in this way and then move forward. Right. So the final part of this particular video is, what is the cost? Okay. What is going to be the cost of doing all these things? Right. So for Supabase, as you know, it's free for a certain amount, and after that you have to pay. It's free for what? It's free for 5 GBs, and then the storage is same one. Same applies for Cloudflare as well. If we go to the top, you can see in the storage, 10 GB is free. After that, it's $15 per additional GB per month, and then class A operations, etc. So what I recommend you to do is use Cloudflare CDN. That's why we ourselves are going to go with the same solution that I am using here, because all these integrations I did it in my own app, right? So here, if I go to R2 object storage, right? If I go back to this bucket, and then what I can do, tap on the settings, scroll down. In this custom domain, what you can do is you can do something like what I'll use bucket dot. Actually, this is a URL that I use. I bought it way back, but I don't use it. So I can use bucket.lits.in and then tap on continue. Okay, I will connect the domain. So what is this, and why I'm doing this, right? So I'm going to go to domain registration, and then as you can see, actually yours, account home. Then you can see I have this lits.in which I bought long ago for making some URL shortness, but I never did. But now it's getting useful, like, right now what I have done, I have registered, I have bought it, I think in GoDaddy, etc. And then I registered the DNS. I changed the DNS to Cloudflare, and then if I go here, right, in this one, what I can do is I can point the DNS of that bucket. So for example, if I go back to R2 storage, overview, and then bucket. So in the settings, see clearly. So this is I forgot this. This is also a S3 compatible bucket. Okay. So for example, if you want to move your JS bundle, or you move your data from Cloudflare to AWS S3 and vice versa, you can also use this. So that is number one. Number two is, so this is the publicly accessible domain of this bucket. So for example, actually this is more backend, but you have to understand that, right? So here, so this particular storage, right? So the storage bucket. So this is the bucket. Okay. So this bucket is it's a storage solution, and that is available publicly in this r2.dev URL. Okay. Right. Now what happens is there is a concept called bandwidth, where the data goes out and data goes in. The data goes in only when we upload it, right? Like when we upload something. So that's not a problem anymore. That's one time negligible, right? But let's take, if you have thousands of users, what is going to happen, right? Thousands and hundreds and like millions of users, the bandwidth cost is going to skyrocket. Okay. So in order to tackle those things, Cloudflare has a CDN solution. So a CDN solution where the bandwidth is free. Okay, the bandwidth is free for a certain amount, and if you go across some like multi petabytes, they are going to cost you. But for the initial terabyte, or at least for the initial gigabytes, right, the gigabytes to terabytes, their pricing page says it's free, and for us it's free till now, right? So this one, what happens is, if you have your, what I would say, your domain hosted in Superbase's, and in Cloudflare's DNS, what you can do is you can take this particular public bucket URL, and then you can proxy it through Cloudflare CDN. Okay, with help of a custom domain which you have hosted in Cloudflare itself. Okay, so the same concept like this proxying. Okay, now here, so what happens? So this is the public bucket. So what is this bucket? And then this one is the domain itself, and this is the users. So this is the users. Okay, they are using this app. So what happens? So what you have to do is you have to transform the URL. Okay. First, let's discuss how this happens. So a user here. Yeah, I'm going to change this. A user calls the custom domain the custom domain of this, which points to the bucket public URL. Okay, right. So what happens? A user is now in India, right? The place I am in, and then US, UK, Australia, right? What happens? As this particular custom CDN, custom domain is hosted in Cloudflare, right? And then it's orange proxy, which is nothing but it is now available in the Cloudflare CDN. What happens is the first time it will get cached in their CDN, and the next subsequent request will always be served from Cloudflare CDN, which will result in two things. One is blazing fast experience for the end user because it's cached and it's nearer to the user. Latency matters. Second one is bandwidth cost is 0. Okay, so that is the important concept you have to know. Okay, if but this thing I am slightly in doubt, where I believe that private bucket URLs are always cached in Cloudflare CDN, but this is the way that we are going to do, right? So using a custom CDN will always be useful when it is proxied through Cloudflare CDN. Custom domain when it's proxied through Cloudflare CDN. Okay. Now, what happens is when we call this when we get the metadata from D1, from the D1 SQL, what happens is this particular thing here, right, the file URL, this will come in this manner only. It won't have this custom domain. So in order to do that, what you do is you go to hot configure or this one, and then what you do, you go here and then use a concept called transform URL. And then this is a function. Okay, so use key, and then you use https bucket.lits.in / this key. Okay, so what happens is this particular library automatically changes this particular URL, whatever we have here, to this, and then the key will be this one from here. Okay, so the end URL will be what? From this will be changed to this one automatically. Okay, and then it would be proxied through Cloudflare CDN, which will have 0 bandwidth cost, because let's say if you have hosted in AWS S3, you have millions of the users, you download the bundle millions of time. It's what 5 MB every day. You think what happens, right? Your cost will skyrocket. So this is one way, but my doubt is, if please clarify in the comments, where is Cloudflare R2 storage always proxied through Cloudflare CDN, and then its bandwidth is 0, or if we have to use this custom domain strategy. But anyways, I'm just telling you the concept, which you can use it in your own application, right? So that's it. Right, that's it for this part of the video. The last part is the capacity estimation or the system design. Okay, so I'm going to use this link. This is also a custom code push solution, but we host it in their server. But yeah, it's not what I would say is using it on our own is the best way. So what is he saying? When deciding between a standalone code push server and the software as a solution, it's important to consider various factors such as overall cost, scalability, and maintenance. That's what I was saying about the past 5 to 10 minutes, right? Based on what we have observed at Push, for production grade applications, you will need at least, what he's saying is 3 premium. Okay, so when Microsoft announced its retirement of App Center, right? So what happened was they provided a custom self-host standalone code push server, but within Azure itself. Actually, I tried this Azure out. A comment. I got a comment where to do this standalone code push server, but using Azure was slightly tougher for me. Right, I have no experience with Azure, but I still tried, but I couldn't get it working. That's the true fact. If you got it working, you can let me know. I will try to make a video on that as well. What he is saying is 3 premium. Okay, so if you are going to upload it to Azure, we will be using this backend tech stack, right? Or what I would say, little instances which we need to use for this to work. is saying 3 premium v3 app service instances, right? So that is nothing but the worker itself, like the worker where that is serverless. This is what I think. This is a persistent what I would say, like server where the like it is just like an replacement to workers, right? Cloudflare workers. Next is a Redis cache instance for analytics, which is nothing but how many users did the what I would say, like did the updates, etc. But we don't have this one. But in future, it may get added. And Microsoft Azure standard support plan, like ask support queries to the Azure team, and then bandwidth. That's what I am saying. This is the main thing that I wanted to say, right? Like the bandwidth, the data moving in and out of Azure data centers. Typically, users of mobile applications are located all over the world. That's what I said. Here in India, Australia, US, UK, so many countries are there. This is the main countries that we cater to. But yeah, so now it means they will so-called internet egress. Egress means what? Bandwidth going out to download updates from data centers. We will use following numbers as an example. 200,000 users, code push server and located, like, yeah, that's true. It's just code push server is what? The workers in Cloudflare. Bundle size is 5 MB, 5 bundles releases every month. It gives us 200,000 users, 5 into 5 MB into 5 bundles per month, which comes to almost 5 terabytes. And then if you factor in all the cost, you can see it's $416 per month. This is what is called capacity estimation, or in normal English terms, it's called estimating the cost which is going to occur to maintain these things or these servers for our users globally. Okay, the same way, if you are going to do it for your own users, right? Let's take you have 10,000 users, 10,000 to 100K. An example, you can also use expose EAS, right? Expose EAS, which is expose, I think, their own custom code push solution. I don't know the price, because we have never used Expo before. But let's say for 10K to 100K users in Cloudflare, not Supabase. So Cloudflare is what? You are going to host the bundles. That cost hosting the bundles. So storage. Okay. And then the metadata. As he said, the metadata is metadata. Sorry, I'll scroll down. So metadata is D1. Okay, D1 SQL. And then the bandwidth, the egress or the bandwidth fees is what here? 0. And then worker, right? Workers, I think it's $5 for a paid account, but $25. I think we have the pro account for $25. It's more worth, right? It's superb, right? Now for the workers, I think it's $5 for a paid worker. As we have the $25 paid one, we have access to the CDN, etc. and all these things. So egress is 0. Workers, let's take 5 maximum, and then as the main thing is the bandwidth. So if the bandwidth is 0, your cost will be less than what? $25 to $50, or maximum $100. Before for App Center, it was literally $0 because it's hosted in Azure. That's why they are deprecating and retiring it. But for this solution, it will come from $25 to $100. Okay. So more than this capacity estimation, I also provided the real numbers in dollar terms for you to have this solution for custom code push solution for your users around the world. Okay, so that concludes this particular video. So I have discussed the Cloudflare integration with Hot Updater in this one. I'm going to make a video after this where I'll be using the library called React Native OTA Hot Update, but with AWS. Okay, so I got a query where how you can use AWS to upload the JS bundles rather than Firebase storage. So I created an AWS account, and then I uploaded the bundles there. I also created a custom dashboard, which all these things I'll discuss in the next video. So thanks for watching this. I know this video is too long, but knowing each and every backend terminologies, how the servers are hosted, how each and everything happens is a must if you are going to move from a junior or moderate to a senior or a staff engineer level, right? So if you are going to provide, or if you are going to depend on either AI or the cloud solutions without knowing how they abstract it, you have to know how each and everything works under the hood. If you always depend on abstraction, and if there is some bottlenecks or issues, There's nobody going to come and solve it. You have to know all these steps, right? So that's why I made this, and I hope you guys would cultivate the same skill sets. So for to improve your own applications. So I will see you in the next video.